Hello everybody, this is Vita and today I'm going to read a story called Joseph and the Jealous Brothers by Fiona Veitch Smith. Joseph was one of the 12 brothers who lived with their dad and stepmothers on a farm in the land of Canaan. On the farm were sheep, goats and lots of cows. There were fat cows and skinny cows and somewhere in between cows, but Joseph loved them all. Joseph's brothers were Reuben, the strong one, Simeon and Levi, the fighty ones, Judah, the only one they called the lion, and Issachar, who laughed like a donkey. Then there were Dan, the peacemaker, Naphtali, the shy one, Gad, the chatterbox, Asher, the cook, Zebulun, the fisherman, and Benjamin, the greedy guts. Joseph was the second youngest, older than Benjamin, but younger than Zebulun. He was the one they called the dreamer. Joseph had dreams that he was more important than any of his brothers. For this they hated him. They were also jealous because their dad Jacob had given Joseph a rainbow robe. They thought he loved his second youngest son more than the rest of them. "It isn't fair," they said. "Why does Dad like him more than us?" One day Joseph's brothers were out looking after the flocks and herds. They were far away in the furthest part of the farm where the sweetest grass for the sheep, goats and cows grew. Joseph was not with them, and they spent all their time gossiping and grumbling about the boy they called the dreamer. "Where's that lazy dreamer today?" asked God. "Sucking up to Dad, I bet." "He's probably getting another present," said Simeon. "I hope he chokes on it," said Asher. And Issachar laughed and laughed. Then, to their surprise, Joseph arrived. "Look, here comes the dreamer," said God, and they all started teasing and calling him names. "Daddy's boy," said one. "Loser," said another. Joseph was so upset that he sat down on a rock and cried, wiping his eyes on the sleeves of his rainbow robe. "Cry, baby," shouted the bullies, which made Joseph feel even worse. While Joseph was crying, his brothers came up with an evil plan. "Why don't we kill him?" suggested Simeon. "We can pretend that a wild animal came along and attacked him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams." All the boys thought this was a great idea, all except Reuben, the eldest, who knew how much their father loved Joseph. He didn't want to make his dad sad. "Why don't we just toss him in that dry well over there?" he suggested, thinking to himself that he could come back later and rescue him. But to his brothers he said, "We can leave him overnight to give him a fright." Judah was very relieved to hear Reuben say this, as he did not want to hurt Joseph either. But despite being nicknamed the lion, he didn't have the courage to tell his brothers that they were wrong. The other boys didn't want to tell Joseph off so easily, but they did what Reuben said. They took Joseph, tore off his robe, and tossed him down the well. Poor Joseph begged them to let him go, but they wouldn't listen. So eventually he got down on his knees and prayed, "Dear God, please help me. Please don't let them hurt me." Then he waited to see what God would do. Later that day, Reuben went off to find a missing calf, leaving Joseph and the rest of the brothers alone. To Judah's dismay, they again started plotting to kill Joseph. Judah really should have run to tell Reuben, but he didn't. Instead, he suggested that they sell Joseph to a group of merchants passing by on their way to Egypt. At least they won't kill him, he thought, as he glumly took 20 silver coins in payment for his brother. When Reuben got back, he was furious to see that Joseph had gone. He really should have run and told his dad, but he didn't. He was too scared that he might get into trouble for not stopping the plan in the first place. So instead, he told his brothers to dip Joseph's robe in blood and take it home to their father, making up a story that he'd been killed by a wild animal. Poor Jacob was broken-hearted. He thought his dear son had died. As he was crying, Reuben and Judah looked at each other, knowing that they really should tell the truth, but they didn't. So as far as anyone else knew, Joseph was gone forever. But you'll be glad to hear God had other ideas. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned as more stories are coming soon.